go. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the stream here. My name's Robbie. If you guys are new here, welcome. If you're coming back, I do appreciate you guys coming back. I was playing some Planet Coaster today. I know last week a lot of people actually enjoyed watching it, especially it's been going really well on YouTube. I think it's actually my best video I've done, the best bits and the stream on the current videos I have up there from the backlog of streams. So thank you guys for that. So we're going to be back as the Planet Coaster this week. So I decided, last week I actually went through my amusement park, kind of told you the story of it, and kind of how it developed and things like that. This week, I think what we're going to do is actually go in and start building a little bit more in the park, and kind of help develop the story a little bit more, just to kind of show it off and kind of show how I build. If you guys have any tips or anything like that to give me, that would be fantastic. Just don't be too mean about it. But yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the seafood shack that was kind of the last thing I showed off last week, and we're kind of working around that area of the park, maybe the 80s park. Maybe about an hour and a half in, maybe around an hour. If we get a little burned out, we can always switch over to the campaign and finish that. If not, we can always continue in the park here. It just depends on how much we get done. So I just got the game loaded. So let me go ahead and pop into it. You know what I didn't do is I just thought about this. I didn't put the camera back to the right game capture. So let me do that real quick. Capture window, Planet Coaster. Take just all of 10 seconds here. I'll kind of show you where I'm working at. Here we go. There we go. Let's get back in here. So this is kind of where we were. This is kind of where we ended the tour last time. You can see kind of the boardwalk over there. Looks really good from this angle. Maybe not down here, but you know, all the trees and stuff like that. You know, I like how that looks. And so we're going to start working on this here, and hopefully we can make it look just as good or even better than that. So this is kind of what this is kind of the idea I wanted to start with today. This is the shrimp shack, or the seafood shack. I haven't really named it yet. This is going to be kind of the lakeside shrimp area, probably a seasonal thing. Probably wouldn't have this year-round, but it would be year-round open to help the special events, because we did have the special events cart area here. And so I think that would be kind of where the park would run at the special events area from, and also run the seafood shack that you can order shrimp and different fried fish and things like that. So let's go ahead and start editing the building. What I think I'm going to do is try to kind of emulate this bottom part on top here, so kind of do this all the way around. So let's just try, you know what, I'm trying to think how I want to do this. I want to turn on the music just a little bit more. I turned up the game volume so you guys could hear it a little bit better, but didn't seem like it wanted to kind of want to overpower things. So let's just let's go ahead and just add this top part in here, see how it looks, because I'm really not 100% sure how I'm going to do this quite yet. When I'm building something like this, I do like to play around with things. I'll look at some reference photos, or just kind of pull from my own memory of different places that I think are neat. And especially if I go to amusement parks, I'll go and just take photos of different buildings or restaurants or something, just stuff I like, and see where maybe I can fit that in somewhere. So let's see if maybe I can do something like this as well. Let's kind of slide this over here and make this top part. Yeah, I think we'll go with something like this. So I will just continue this all the way around. It might be a little easier if I did it all at once, if I can. You can kind of see as I select different parts, see how this building came together. This back building might be a little bit different just because of just how it's shaped and stuff like that. I might have to, if technically the kitchen would be back there, so we might just need to do a blank wall of some sort. So yeah, I think something like that. Then if we take the top trim and copy it, something like that, and then I think if we just duplicate it one more time, slide it up to maybe there. And there we go. Let's just double check, make sure. But yeah, there's this one's a bit off. I think maybe just the this is off there. Yeah, I kind of like that. It just it's a little bit different. It's not you know, it's not a perfect building. I kind of like, you know, I kind of like the idea of just having this little add-on. Maybe that they tacked this on, or this was like a overhang at one point and they just built it into the building because they needed it. So yeah, there's that. I think what I'm going to try to do is add in some windows in this front section here. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with this side part. I'm thinking maybe this part here is actually going to be a serving area. So you'll be able to, like, so inside here, this is kind of, you'll be able to walk in, order food and things like that. And so you'll have kind of the kitchen area and serving area in this area. And they can also get to the cart just through this door here. Then they can also serve food out this way, so you can order it and get it here. We could probably have a nice patio here for them to sit at as well. So I think that's what we're going to try to work on. I think the first thing I want to do, though, is work on the front here, work on the windows, things like that. So let's see what kind of windows we can actually get for the building. Is it called glass or is it just called pane? I know it's whatever they added. Is this it? I think it actually might be in buildings. It's whatever they added in during the Studios DLC. That's what I'm looking for. It might be over here. Yes, here it is. So, I don't think we need quite that big of a piece, but something like this, maybe? Just slide this in here, slide it up. Now, I don't think I'm going to keep it this big of a window. Let's try. We have... I don't think I added that glass piece to this building, so I need to do that real quick. Hold on. Well, maybe. If I do that, add, edit. Because I think, you know, too big a window here kind of, it doesn't really look perfect. It looks a little more modern than I'd like it. Oh, I got something in my mouth real quick. Hold on. Because I really want something that's, it seems like it was a shack at one point that they kind of updated just a little bit to actually make it more habitable. And so that you can actually put some sort of restaurant in here. I still haven't named this place yet. Usually I'll come up with a name. Usually I'll think of something kind of out of the blue. Seems a little bit big there. Wood. Let's look for wood and see what. Since it's a 2 meter beam, which I think is what we were using, that looks a little too big. What about the other ones that we were using for the trim? Come on, there we go. I think it's this one. I think they're the same size. I guess what we could do is do this, and then we'll color it the right color. We'll just add it to there. There we go. And now if we let's see here, if we rotate this up, and we might just have to split the whole trim and stuff like that in half too. If we did something like this, hold on, like this, and if we just made it because since we can't like hide it, why don't we just make it go all the way up like this, and kind of split both the trim and the windows in half. And I kind of like that. And I kind of like how it's offset in just a little bit, because it maybe doesn't look like it's perfect, but that's just how they did it. So I kind of like how that looks, so I'll go ahead and copy that over to the other side here. Now this side's going to be a little bit different because it is quite a bit larger. So let's see here, maybe do something like, I'll have to do at least 2 of these. Something like this. And what I could do is try to make these 2 even, so the ones on the left and right, and in the center we leave it as like a blue like a rectangle. We put either like a menu there for the for the restaurant, so people can walk by and say, hey, what kind of food do they have? And they'll have to go all the way in to try to figure it out. I kind of like that idea, so we'll do that. Get another glass, because I don't think that will work for what we're going to be using it for. So we can find a little bit smaller piece here, a 2x1. It's a little too small, and this, I think this is what we were using before. Well, let's try this, or you know what, since we're just doing that, let's do this. We'll move it over to here, and continue it over to, just sticking out the end there, and then, let's see, go back to the beams here. So the thick wood beams, which I believe that's not them. They should be down here somewhere. This wooden post. Your pillars. Wooden column. Okay, there are thick wood beams. Let's just do, we'll copy this one, and then we can make it smaller. And then do something like, or how's a 4 meter look? I think the 4 meter might be a little too big. So let's do something like this. We'll offset it inside, and make it kind of flush with the wall, or flush with the back here. And you know, we can't do that because the glass is there. So let's just make it as close as we can to the front of that glass so it doesn't really interfere. Well, I guess not. I think we can actually do that. And then over. And then we need to color these beams in the proper color here. Come on, there we go. And one more, I think one more will do it. Yeah, there we go. So I think that'll look a little bit nicer, you know, just to, so we don't have 3 huge windows there. I think that'll kind of look nice. I think we're going to bring this out just a little bit more, so it's a little bit easier to post the menus there. But I think what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to put a TV screen in. So essentially we can have, you know, in more modern, you know, restaurants, they will have like moving menus that they can kind of change out on the fly, which I think will work a little bit better in here. Let's see, position snap. No, align to surface, what I'm looking for. Because I'm thinking, do I want to do it like, do I want to have one big screen in, or do I do like 2 small ones? Like this. Maybe actually do like 3 of them. Hold on. Something like that. See how they look. Because, I mean, worst comes to worst, we can always change them out later. Do something like this. And then on one, you'd have like your combos, and then like you have your drinks and your sides. And then you have like an advertisement one, like drink Coke, or get the unlimited souvenir refill bottle, or something like that. I think that might be more realistic to where I'm kind of going for. And that's how we're going to do it. So we're just going to offset them into the wall just a little bit more. I did notice that the wall behind it is not quite covering everything here. Like, there we go. And I think I can actually make some decals a little bit later, maybe even make a video for the one on the right, just to make it look like we're selling souvenir bottles, things like that. But that'll be a little later. So I think for now, the front will be done. I will come back here once we get the structure in, we get like kind of the interior done. Then we'll add things like decorations, trash cans, things like that to make it look like it belongs here. Alright, so this side here. So we know this is going to be an open window. So we do need to put some sort of like a roll down, kind of like a garage door, so that when the shop is closed, that they can just, you know, pull it down or hit a button and it rolls down. So we need to put something like that in here. And I think I'll leave it closed because maybe that this shop it's not in season now, or maybe they're only serving inside right now. Could be a thing. Maybe it's a rainy day, or, you know, something like that. Something's causing it to where they can't serve out there. So, how do I want to do this? Well, what we could do, let's try, I'm looking for there's a road pole, I'm thinking, yeah, this one. How big is this? Is this too wide? No, that might be perfect. And then I will kind of scoot it over just a little bit more here. And then roll it up, and that'll be kind of the top of the spindle, I guess. We'll make it both kind of gray, just to kind of match. Because I think what I'm going to do, I might have done like, why isn't this coloring like I thought it would? Hold on. That one and that one. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so we got that in. I know it kind of hangs over a little bit, but we can always fix that a little later. Or, you know, we might just... Oop, that's... Camera likes to do wonky things sometimes. I know that. Let's see here. Let's do that. We could do something like a corrugated. Let's see here. Do we have anything maybe in the Theme Maker's Toolkit that we could use as a kind of like a corrugated? I know we have the corrugated roof, but I don't know if that would work. Something like that. I don't think that's what I quite want. I think what the other thing we could do actually, and I think this might be the way I want to go. Let's see here. I think it's in scenery. We are going to do I need a railroad. I need the rails here. I think what I can do is if I advance move this, I'm thinking I'm going to need the smaller of the two. Well, let me try it with the longer one, because the longer one we would need less of, so we wouldn't kill my computer with stuff like that. So let's see here. Something like that. Can we move it over just a tiny bit more? We can. So if we do something like this. Now, it does look like there's just a bunch of railroad, like the actual iron there now, but I have an idea. If I do this, if I can now turn all this 100, oh, I just grabbed one of them, so I actually want to grab all of them. But I think I didn't include these into the building, so let me do that really quick here. Add, edit. Go. Let's copy. Rotate this around. Oop, there we go. And then slide it back in here. You can kind of see where I'm going with this now. And if I slide this back just a bit, we get that texturing effect I was looking for. So it looks like it actually looks like that maybe this is just a temporary thing. It's not quite a permanent one. And then I do want to add one more in here because I did miss a little bit over on this side. Something like that. So there we go. Now you can kind of see how that looks now. It looks like we have a roll down door here. There actually is a Theme Maker's Toolkit I wanted to add here just to make it look like it actually is like a roll up door. And it is actually a coaster, like a switch thing, but it looked like something you could actually roll up and down a door with. And I'm trying to find it now. I think this might have been it. Yeah. Well, if I can rotate this around here, it might be a little overkill on the door, but you know, I think this is the one I'm thinking of. I'm just going to double check, make sure, but I believe this was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, looks like it is. All right, cool. So we'll do something like this. We'll kind of push it back in the wall just a little bit so that it actually looks like it belongs in there. It's also, let's see here, I think actually there's some cables I can use in Theme Maker's Toolkit that would make it look just a little bit better. Oh, there it is. I'm like, I couldn't find the wire. Something like this. We might have to move it out just a little bit more, but I do want to make it a little bit darker so you can see it a little bit better. Something like that. If we can, I might have to make like just a little, like looks like a little junction box for it, which I'm okay with. There's that, and then if we can just use an arch shape. I think we've just put like a gray box up there that's looks like it's connected to the nope, I actually do the scenery first. I didn't know they actually organized that into different styles. It's actually pretty cool. So let's go over here, and I'm looking for let's see here, maybe that cube, the extra small one. I think I can make that work. Something like this, and then place it there. Sink it into the wall. I can't go too far out, but go as far as we can. Something like there. Oh, that's actually too much. So something like this. Kind of make like, almost like a fuse box almost is what I'm kind of going for. It might be a little big, but I think that'll work for now. It's also going to be inside, so you're not going to see a lot of this most of the time. And then I think we can just put a like a electricity thing on it, like a warning sign. I think that'll be perfect for this. Let's see here. I've got a lot of stuff, a lot of food stuff, and I want to use it in this restaurant. That's why one of the reasons I wanted to build this place. Let's see here. That's not quite what I'm looking for. That's an exit sign. Of course, now I won't be able to find it now. It's really odd, but Just a wall there. Bathroom signs. I've got an authorized personnel only sign, but I swear I had one that it was like an electricity do not touch one. How big is this sign? It might be a little too big for this. All right. Well, let's not worry about that. We got our roll-up door, and I think it looks pretty nice. Oh, I don't line to surface anymore. Or position snap. That's what I was kind of working on. All right, so I think what we need to do is start working on kind of the main counter. It's not going to be perfectly detailed in here, and we also really need to work on the back wall too. You know what? Let's actually work on the back wall first. So I think eventually what's going to happen is I'm going to put a sign of some sort back here. Actually, back to the building here, just to, if you're, on like if you're, like right here on the like on the patio or on the wall here around the lake, you'll be able to see what the sign is. Or if you're on the gondola, you might be able to see it. It's a bit of a distance away, so this might just be blank too. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it yet, but so let's go ahead and we'll form the back wall. I don't think we'll do much with it right this second here, but we'll get this going here. It doesn't look too bad. I think if we put some vertical columns in here, it'll look a little bit better. But for now, that's what we got. I think it'll work for now. Or maybe let's just try it. Let's try using these thick beams. But just do something like this and kind of divide it in thirds here. It's not precise or anything, but for now, I'm okay with that. Oh crap! I didn't mean to exit the building here. But yeah, I think that'll work. Just kind of, it's a sign that's not going to be seen very often, unless you're really looking at it. So, that's fair enough. All right, so I think we can now move on. We do have to work on the roof. I'm not sure 100% how I'm going to do this one yet, so that's why I'm kind of avoiding it right now. But I think if we can get the inside done and kind of know how that's going to be laid out, I can figure out what to do with these two windows. I think one's going to be a condiment cart, like right here maybe. I think they're like tartar sauce, ketchup, mustard, things like that. Over here, still not sure. Might just be a big counter here. You'd be actually kind of surprised how big, how much counter space you use for stuff like that. Because trust me, I've had to clean them quite a bit, so it makes sense. So let's work on the counter then. Probably how I want to shape this. Because technically, I don't need a way from the kitchen or the counter area to the front of the store. They can really just exit out the store, walk around. Since it's a small enough store, at least. So I think what we need to do, first off, do I want to leave it, looking at the floor, it's like, do I want to leave it concrete or do I want to do something a little bit different? Like, because I have a couple of theme makers toolkits, like these panels, essentially all it is. I think that might be a little much, but something like that, or maybe just a nice wood floor, especially since it's supposed to be a shack. I think there's some wood floors over here we can use. That might look kind of nice. Let's see here. There's a wood platform there. Probably not what we're looking for, though. Although maybe the only thing we have kind of wood floor wise, unless there is one over in scenery. This is kind of why also some of my builds take forever, because it's like I don't quite know all the pieces. I have an idea of what I kind of I have an idea of what I want to do. This will work, but I don't quite know how to do it. It's one of those things like I somewhat know what I'm doing, but it's a little too small there. But I'm thinking we do something like this, kind of sink that into the wall a little bit, and then we'll bring it down just a little bit so it looks like it makes it look like kind of a little bit of an uneven floor. But if we're in the seafood shack, it kind of makes a little bit of sense. And we'll just continue that over to there. Yeah, okay. I wasn't 100% convinced this would work, but I think this will look, I feel, a lot better than just having that bare concrete there. And, some restaurants in places like in amusement parks do just have bare concrete floors. The first one I worked at Hank's Burrito Shack, if you walk in the main area, it's just painted concrete. And then I might do something like this, how they do in Hank's. They really don't have chains that divide up the line. They actually use kind of like a column, it's like a decorated column, and they have stuff like a small shelf in between them. It makes it, I mean, it looks like a line still, don't get me wrong, but I think it makes it maybe look a little bit better than just the chains that you would normally have on a restaurant. Do something like this as well, and this one won't be seen by guests, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And trust me, in places like Kings Island, things like that, there is places like that you can tell, no guest will see it because it is usually not. I mean, they're good about taking care of their park, but there are some places in there that you can tell that guests will not see it because they don't take care of it as well. So there's our flooring in. It looks rather nice. So let's go ahead and what do I want to put? What do I want to make the counter? I mean, I'm trying to think here. I'll grab a drink while I do. I did some strong tea. I got raspberry tea today, but it's a little potent today, which it's good. Don't get me wrong, but still thinking about this countertop. Honestly, if we do something like let me go back to the wood beams over here. If we do a thick wood beam, or do the haunted house beam, I think the haunted house beam would be just fine here. Actually, I'm gonna line it up with the rear wall here. Or maybe that'll work. Let's see here. We at least need. Come on, roof. my way here. Cool. So we need to at least get this part into the counter area. So what I'll do is just kind of sink this in just a little bit here. I think this might be kind of that idea. So now what we can do is I might turn it just a little bit and kind of bring it out and then bring it back into the wall here. Yeah, this is kind of relatively new to me doing stuff like this in Planet Coaster. I mean, usually I'll build a building and don't do an interior because I would think that I would never see it. But you know, I like trying new things. You know, the Shockwave, the coaster just right across the path there, was the first coaster I ever custom supported. So, you know, this park is really just kind of exploring how to do stuff like this. So, I kind of like the idea of doing an interior for a restaurant because I spent so much time in one. That's kind of the other thing. If you ever go to Kings Island, if I'm not mistaken, I counted. I think I've only not worked at 4 or 5 of the restaurants in that park at one time or another. Mostly like the Starbucks, the Graders, the real specialty stuff. I've worked at La Rosa's though. I've worked at the Subways. And there's like 1 or 2 things out in the water park I haven't worked at. And then the new stuff like the Coney barbecue place. I haven't worked there because it opened after I left. So it's things like that it's like, so you know, I've been to a lot of these places. I've had to make a lot of different food. So still rather fun though. You know, I never I complained maybe a little bit while I was working there, but it was actually really kind of fun just to do something different every day, or have the ability to do something different every day. That's one of the reasons I think kind of working in amusement parks is kind of fun like that, is that you know, a lot of people don't think about it this way, but you know, if you do the same thing over and over again, it gets monotonous and it really kind of stinks. But there we had a system where, like, let's say, you know, you were working at one place that was kind of your home store, and they had plenty of people, but another store, you know, needed people that day. Maybe a couple people called off, or what have you. And so they would call pulling. They would pull you over to another stand to work there that day. And 9 times out of 10, they just threw you on register, honestly. But once you got to know them pretty good enough, you can actually run things like making food or things like that. So it was kind of a neat experience on how to do all that. I don't know how many burgers I've flipped or how many fries I've cooked. Just, you know, or even pizzas made. And I didn't work at pizza. My first 2 years, I worked at Hank's Burrito Shack. I worked on the turkey cart quite a bit, but I also rolled burritos, and actually, I think it was actually on register most of the time, to be honest with you. But I did make quite a few burritos as well. And then my 3rd year, I got promoted to a supervisor, and moved to a place that no longer exists. It's called Coney Potato, or it was called Coney Potato Works. And pretty much we just made fries there. But we'd also do like loaded fries with like chili, cheese, and bacon on them. But we also did chicken tenders and gluten-free corn dogs, which were, if the batter was not right, those things were a pain in the butt to make. But you know, if you got the batter right and you made it yourself, it was pretty good. And I worked there for about 4 months, and then I got moved to the other Potato Works location in Rivertown. It's a little bit busier, and they thought I was a little bit better at I could handle cash more, you know, because it actually did more. I can't even talk now. But the Rivertown location actually did more business, and since they thought I could actually handle the cash a little bit better, they just moved me over there. So I was okay with it. And then I worked there for the rest of the year, and then the year afterwards, I worked in the office. I actually had my own desk and everything. Did that for about 6 months and got kind of tired of it because there's a couple different reasons, but I just kind of got burnt out on it. So I could have moved back out into the park just as an associate because they really didn't have any manager positions open. But I told them, I said, you know what, I think I'm going to leave food service at that point. And so I did, and I left and went to merchandising. and spent the last part of the year as an associate there, and then I got promoted again to a supervisor. So and then I worked as a supervisor until I left. Well, sort of. I came back I had an injury, so I missed a lot of 1 year. So I came back as an associate, worked there for about 4 months, and then left for a new job. So that's kind of how my career went. It's kind of odd, but it was still a rather fun thing to do. So if you guys get a chance to actually work in an amusement park, I would at least take a chance. At least try it out. It's not a perfect job by any means, but at the same time, I really thought about this when I was working there. It's like I could be working at like a place like McDonald's or Burger King, things like that, and making minimum wage, and do the same thing over and over again, have the same scenery, probably have the same people coming through every day, or I get a chance to work in an amusement park, which, number one, probably looks a little bit better on a resume. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I did do some hiring when I was there. When I was in the office, I did hire a few people. But it seems like it's a little bit better, shows you that you might actually do something a little bit different than just, working in food service or something like that. So that was just kind of my experience on how that went. Kind of a brief overview of how what I did in amusement parks. So there's that. So this counter building is not the most exciting in the world. I understand that, but I think this is kind of going to set up how we're going to do the rest of it. Because we will need a couple different things. So if we're going to be making seafood, we will need some deep fryers for shrimp, fish, things like that, and fries. I mean, fries always important in places like this. Let's do something like that. And but we're also going to need some things like refrigerators and things like that. This place probably actually wouldn't have a walk-in refrigerator. So it would have to get supplies regularly from some place, because you actually don't realize how much storage places like this actually need until you walk into one. Even the smaller places need quite a bit of storage, just because of things you don't think about, like napkins and cups and things that even customers don't need, cleaning supplies or gloves for working in food service. I don't know. We would usually keep, we would try to keep, about 300 or 400, gloves. So it'd be like 5 or 6 boxes. And, the boxes were this big. Paper towels, big thing as well. So these things just take up a lot of space. Same with dishes. Dishes we actually keep a lot of, even if you don't see them. Things that we serve in, or things that we just store food in until we need to cook them. Takes up a lot of room. So using a small place like this, we do need to be a little more creative on how we do storage. But we got this Theme Makers. We got quite a few things on Theme Makers Toolkit that I want to look at, because there is some really neat kitchen stuff that I've seen. Things like a boiled noodle device. I don't think we'll need that for this place, but we also have a card reader. This actually was, I think, made by John T. Sparrow, which I quite like the look of. Maybe not quite what we used at Kings Island. Ours are mostly touchscreens now, which is actually really nice. If I find a touchscreen one, I'll probably re-add it in here, but I do like how this looks. And to be honest with you, if you go to any register in an amusement park, there is going to be a note taped on it somewhere. Either a special that's going on, a note from the manager, or if the associate's doodling on a piece of receipt paper. That happens quite a bit. So this register will be for the outside here, right next to the controls here, and it'd be most likely that an associate would accidentally hit that at one point, and that's probably something that would happen. Then we'll put maybe 2 more. Put 2 more registers inside for the inside line, like here and here. I think that'll work great. Move that up just a little bit more. I think that'll work just fine here. And technically, if we want to put shelving down here, we could. places like this, we would put cups and things like that in sanitizer to help clean the counters off. I don't think I'm going to go that far with it. But yeah, I think that'll looks great now. Let's see here. We're gonna need prep tables. That, you know, tables are always nice to have around here, and I know we do have one. Let's see here. Hand washing facility would be a good idea. I'm gonna set that over here by the door. Line to surface, please. Didn't align like I thought it would. All right, well, let's put a hand washing station in. And you would actually help if I put down an archer. Let me put in an archer really quick. You know, the old tried and true method of putting an archer down just for scale. Something like that. That might be a little low, but... So let's... oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's raise this guy up just a little bit, and we'll have the pipe just kind of... like... It's a little off, but I think that'll work. Go. Let's go back to the Theme Maker's Toolkit and see what kind of kitchen stuff we can also pull out of here. Let's see here. Let's kind of reset back to the top here. So let me scroll down just a little bit here. What's this here? We're going to ice maker. We might need one of those here in a little bit. Let's see here. Napkin dispensers, always good. One tank sink. Yeah, we'll need one of these. Very important. These will actually be where you actually do your dishes. You can't really wash your hands in these. Even though we probably did more than once. Let's do something like... We'll put this in the corner here. This is going to be our sanitation area. That. And let's see here. It's the showcase. Don't really need a refrigerated showcase. A bunch of flags. Soda machine. I don't know if I'm going to use this one. I got a couple of them. That looks a little small for what we're going to be using it for. Let's see here. We'll have a gas stove. I don't think that's not quite what we're looking for here. Hold on. Actually, I want to do a 2-tank sink. These are a little more common in restaurants. Just, you know, actually, most restaurants in King's Island actually have a 3-tank sink. And essentially, what would happen is you would have when you were consistently washing dishes, which I did quite a bit. Your first tank would have just is full of some sort of detergent that would help. You know, that's kind of your soaking phase. You take it out, wash the dish, put it in the middle one, and rinse off all that detergent. Your third one would just be full of sanitizer, and that would just disinfect all your dishes. And that's usually how we clean dishes. Yeah, that was a fun one. All right, so here's what we got. Here's what I was looking for here. We got a work table with a cupboard. This is A. Let me pull them out here so I can see them a little bit better. So that's A, and this is B here. Okay, so the same thing, just a little bit different scaled, or different doors on it. So let's do something like this. Put these back here. Kind of mush them down just a little bit more. Something like that. So there's that, and we are out of things. I swear, I had a deep fryer somewhere, and that would have been perfect for this, because that's kind of what we really need. Maybe I overlooked it. Let me double check it. Let me go back and double check through here. If not, what I'll do is maybe before next stream, I'll go out and look for one, because that is something that would really be beneficial in something like this. There it is. Perfect. Alright, so I think, yeah, this is just all it is. So, a little bit of space here. see if we can put it back against the wall as far. Let's do it down here so that know exactly, because I want to put a couple of these in, and I'll just copy them. Just kind of move them over like this. Let's double check the height on these things. I think they're a little tall. We can always make them a little bit shorter. Oh, I didn't get that third one in there. Come on. It's not liking me this afternoon. All right, come on. There we go. Let me just shrink these down just a little bit here. So there is that. So we actually have, you know what? Let's add a fourth one in, because I got a feeling that all four of these will be going on a busy day. So let's do that. It's a gas stove stand. I don't think we quite need that. Let's see, what else could we? Let's get another table down here. Oh, it's a cold table. You know what? We don't have a cold table at all. Let's actually. Let's do something like this, actually. Let's pull this out so I don't have the wood popping through the back there. Let's scoot it back as far as we can without the wood. There we go. And then I do want to make put a cold table over here somewhere. Could I maybe squeeze that over? We're running out of room, which is not great, but it's kind of how a restaurant like this kind of would work. You know, you have limited space and things like this. I'm wondering if we put it against this wall here, kind of shrink it down to the floor just a little bit. Do something like that. Can we make it any bigger though? Like, can we hide that refrigerator unit? Not really. Actually, hold on. Can we do something like this where we actually hide? Nope, that's too much. So we have to do something like this. That'll work, and I think we'll leave the register over there. But we, I don't know. This seems a little sparse, though. I don't know why. Something to me doesn't seem right. We do need drink machines, so we'll probably put those down here. Let's go ahead and do that. We have this. We have a drink dispenser. This is Coke. Kind of want a. Kind of want something that says. I know I did say that. What's this? This is just it's a dishwasher. Oh, forgot I had this one too. Not quite the one we use at Kings Island. We have ones that were more like conveyor belts that you just put you have big trays for and you just kind of slot everything in. Just type in Gulpy, see if I can get something to come up. I guess not. Alright, guess we have to look for that one then. Well, this is, you know, so far it's not going too awful bad. You know what? We do probably need to have one of these up, though. Come to think about it. This is just a big, like, standing unit refrigerator that you would have something like this. What if we rotated it here? Give this... What we'll probably do is put, like, a fake wall along this countertop here. Move something like there. We'll put, like, a little facade up here. So it kind of go along here and just go up to the roof. Or, you know, up to a wall. Or like a drop ceiling, essentially. Just to give these guys a little more privacy back here so that they could do like dishwashing, things like that, kind of in peace. Let's see here. For alcohol there. Ice machine here. How big is the ice machine? Not as big as I thought it would be, but I think we'll leave it out for now. Most stands, probably not like this one. These would probably get bags of ice delivered to them. But most stands actually have a big ice machine that you can actually, if it was completely empty and not cold or anything, you actually could almost stand inside of them. So what I think we'll do actually is we'll use this, but we'll double and triple it up a little bit. So we'll do something like this. Not the best looking in the world. I might look for another one to kind of replace it. What I'll do is here is just to kind of make it look a little bit more maybe bulky. So let me go over to the art shapes here. I do want to move these back actually a little bit more. Art shapes. I want to get the rectangles. Where are the rectangles at? Ah, there we go. Maybe make this a little like silver here. Kind of make this look like a drip tray on the front here. Just so that it looks like it's a little bit easier to clean instead of this wood that we would have across here. Something like this. We'll might have to edit that how big that is here in a second. Then do something like this. There probably would be two sets of drink machines, and I think that they'll look a little off. So let me just rotate them both. That looks better. You know what we could do actually? That ice machine. Let me get that out here. Ice. Go. What I can do is, while this is a standalone unit, a lot of these machines are actually attached to the top of drink machines. If you actually go into any fast food restaurant or something like that, you actually can look and see that a lot of times these are actually just attached to the back of, or either the back of or to the top of drink machines like this. So if I do something like that, adds a little bit more interest to it. And maybe it's a little bit different, you know. I think I will need to go find some different soda fountains because I'm really not a big fan of how those look. But for now, those will stand in just okay. Let me look at like a cup, maybe. Oh no, I forgot. I forgot I had these. The souvenir cup. I think we'll put a couple of these. You know what we could do is actually make a display here, and we'll do a little bit higher here. Do 2, and then I can't rotate them like I wanted to. Something like this. If you ever go into anything like this, you'll see the drinks. You know, they'll have like, hey, if you buy 1 souvenir cup, you'll, you know, it'll be like, you know, you get free refills all day. But if you buy 2 souvenir cups, you'll save $2 and still get your free refills. Trust me, if you really look hard enough, these things are everywhere. And usually they kind of look like this, because I've had to set these displays up before. Let's see here, do something like this, and rotate this kind of askew. Well, there we go. Let me get back in. I really actually forgot I had these, and this, I don't know, it's not going to be perfect, but I think if I put maybe like you know what, I think I actually know exactly what I can do. There's panel pieces I can put in. They might be small enough to kind of fit behind this. Oop, I just hit myself with my own microphone. That was not fun. Let me see if I can find those panel pieces really quick here, and then make it look like a sign that they've put up. I think they're actually under pane here. Do I have anything in Theme Maker's Toolkit that would maybe kind of suffice? I don't think I do. Doesn't look like it. Da, 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 da. What's that? Some of this stuff I wonder why I got it sometimes, but you know, I have them, so doesn't look like I have really anything that would fit there. But yeah, I kind of like how that looks. Let me also let's put a few more souvenir cups just on the counter here, because you would be usually with souvenir cups. When at least when I worked there, I should say. We would have literally hundreds of these things in stock. So if you really want a souvenir cup, we could get you one. Do a second row of them here. Because if I'm thinking they came in boxes of 100, if I'm not mistaken, 100 or 150, and usually we keep about 2 or 3 boxes on us at all times. So that looks just about right. You know, I still want to do something here, like for the souvenir cups, and I'll think of something later. But you know, that'll work for now. I was kind of surprised I didn't see like a cup or anything like that, like just a soda. Maybe you'll look for that too. I know there's a Slurpee there, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. Fire extinguisher wouldn't actually kind of required in places like this, so let's go ahead and put one of those up. Put it actually right here. I think this would be kind of a good spot for it. Trust me, I've never had to use one. I've seen where they've had to be used. So let's put we'll put 2 of them up because this is taking care of the cart and the store here. So they're a little embedded in the wall here, a little too much. I'm gonna pull them out just a little bit. That'll work. So yeah, it's starting to shape up a little bit better. Let's go ahead and put the facade up before I forget. Oh crap, I actually have a different cash register too. Ooh, I don't know if I really like that. That's a little too old school. It'd be nice to have a touchscreen one. I'll look for one of those too. When I'm back out on the Theme Maker's Toolkit on the Steam Workshop. What does this look like? Something like, something like that would actually work with the door over there. But I think, let's see how this looks as just a wall. We can use this as a counter space for the guest as well. Or maybe part counter space, part for the guest, and then part outwards like this. Something like that. And we'll just take it up to, I don't think we'll take it quite to the roof. In theory, this would be up to a drop roof. They'd probably have a drop roof that went, like, probably right about where camera is. Right on the top here, they'd have a drop ceiling in here. But if you look at it from the outside now, you can actually kind of... It's starting to look like a restaurant you would see, at least. And that's a good thing. That's kind of what I was hoping for, Because once again, you're not going to see up into the roof here. So I'm not really that concerned with how that looks. I'm more concerned of if I peek through a window here, what am I going to see? Over here, I'm going to see a couple gulping machines and the souvenir cups. Which is perfect because that's something you would see. Let's see here. Rotating. I think what we need to do, I think what we're going to do is we're going to just finish up. We're going to do the queue line for the inside here, and then I think the inside's going to be done. It's not perfect, and I might get a few more ideas later on. But for now, I think it's done enough to where we can actually call it okay. I think I'll be okay with that. If you look here, I mean, we got a good looking counter. I think a queue line would look great here. We can put we we probably need to put some screens in here for ordering, but since I don't really have a menu thing set up, I'll take a look at that later. Because when I do the outside one, I'll do the inside ones as well, if I remember to do so. So there is that. Let's do the queue. We actually don't have a lot of room up here either, and I've kind of noticed that. I think we might just do the chains in here and save the other idea for another restaurant we do. Let's see here. So let's do... First of all, let's find them. Oh, here's a cup. That's kind of what I was looking for. Hold on. Time out. I know it's a Coke cup, and technically we serve Gulpy here, but you know, this is kind of what I was looking for here. Just kind of dot them around here. Make it look like people were using this, and I think it looks kind of nice. So there's that. Let's see. Chain. Where is the chains at? Did I just miss them or something? Oh, they're right up here at the top. What am I doing? Alright. So what we'll do, we'll have them enter here. We'll have them go right, then left, and then partially back right so they can come out and do all this. So, we will need something like this. I think these are right about the same height. What we need, yeah. So these will work here. We'll have them come straight in. We'll do a two-way here. Yeah, to be honest with you, we really don't have that much room. We might just have them come to the left first and then around. Because if you look here, we can do something like this. And I wanted to do this in line, so I just go do. And you know what? We probably need to do this one first to put the chain in. Oop, come on. There we go. And move this up. Move these actually into the ground. Like so. And then we will move this one down here. Rotate it 90 degrees. So that this now actually turn like, you know, this will have we'll have a turn here. And then we can turn this way. Move this over like so. I think we'll do the same on this one. Just kind of put it in there. You can also move this over. Once you get the chains actually, you know, going like this, it can go pretty quick. So we'll do something like oh, come on, there we go. Something like this, and then move this forward. And then I'm going to move all this over just a little bit. It's probably right there. And then I think we'll move something like there. Kind of divide this in half, and then there we go. Over like this. then we continue. Essentially, we'll just do the same on the other end. So I might just copy and paste that over. And we'll go all the way out to the wall because I don't think there's anything else going to be over here. So we do something like this. And then we can just copy this down a couple times. Like that. And like this. Yeah, I think what I can do also is just put a chain from here over to another one over to the wall. That'll work just fine. And then we'll do something like this. We'll only probably put one of those up though. Something like this. We can actually take one of these, copy it, and rotate this. Probably more than just 90 degrees, but throw that in here. Move this a little more forward. And then I think we'll do one more. Just to the counter. Ooh, that's a little too far. Alright, never mind. Yeah, I think that'll work. It's not perfect, but get rid of the archer too. But I think if you look from the outside, it actually looks like, you'll come in here. You'll realize that you'll have to go into the line here and then loop around. It's a shorter line, fair enough, but I wouldn't suspect a seafood place would be the most popular at the park. It's a good option to have, but maybe not the most popular in the world. I bet you a lot of people in here would come to get drinks. That would be kind of the idea of the place. So, yeah. So now that we've got that taken care of, I think what I'm going to do is make just those two windows so that we can see into it a little bit better, so we can actually see what's going on. Stretch here for a second. So I'll kind of do what I did on the other side. I think I'm going to split it in half. Something like this. And just copy the window. So let's do this. Let's rotate it a full 90 degrees. And then move it into place over here. I love how the music just stops all of a sudden. I don't know. I've noticed that. It's like, oh, there's no music playing now. Alrighty. That looks really good right there. I'm going to do, though, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to save the game because it's very possible that in parks like this, it can crash. So I don't want to lose all this progress because I really like how this is turning out. So. But I think we're put the other window in, and I think we can work on the roof then. And then we might start doing some decorations just to kind of wrap up the building up a little bit. It's a perfect no, and I get that. And there's probably 100 ways I could improve this. But you know what? It's neat just to see what all I can do, and we've been working on this for about an hour. So it's really nice to see that. In a short amount of time, I can actually get something like this done. It seems like, you might be saying to yourself, oh, man, an hour's a long time for a game. And yeah, you might be right. But games like this, where this game wasn't really 100% made to be a creative game like this. It was more built for people to play like Roller Coaster Tycoon, where it's actually more managing the park. But I think it's really become more of a creative style of gaming like this, and this is kind of the first game that kind of introduced me to that concept, and I really like how it works that way. So we got that up there, but we'll work on a condiment cart here soon, probably in both sections here. Maybe one might be trash cans, I don't know yet, but that'll be part of the decorations. So now we can work on the roof a little bit, and I think we're going to go over to the temple pieces here. And that'll be the best way to kind of patch it all together, because we won't have to do this by hand because there is no roof pieces that are going to fit in there perfectly. Something like this. This is also how I did the concrete around the place. Won't leave too much of a lip on the end there, just so that it doesn't leak as bad. I mean, what we could use this for is actually to make a drop ceiling. If you guys don't know what a drop ceiling is, most ceilings today are drop ceilings. Like it looks like tiles. If you work in an office or anything like that, those are drop ceilings. Pretty much most buildings in an amusement park will be a drop ceiling of some sort. You actually won't see the actual roof of the place. You'll see just kind of the drop ceiling tiles or whatever they use technically to cover up the structure of the building. Because a lot of times it doesn't really look great what they're trying to cover up. So, and then what we'll do is actually, we don't want to extend out that far with it. I'll stop at this wall here, and I'm going to try to bring it around a little more, because it's very possible, since this is just part of the associates area, they would kind of leave that open, especially with a refrigerator there. Technically it would fit, but that's just me. Well, be a little finicky right now, so let's bring this one straight across. Ooh, not what I wanted to do there. Let's hit escape and restart this over here. Working right next to roofs and things like that, it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt for me. So something like this. Alright, I think we'll switch over to a smaller one. They have like a half one. Look here. Doesn't look like it. Alright, I'll have to improvise something a little bit different here then. I mean, I guess I could just rotate this one to match this wall here. Something like, I want to move this one out as far as I can so I don't have to use as many on the outside here. I think it looks really nice. I think that'll work for what it is. Do kind of want to finish up on the inside here though. Because this part of the park, I wanted to make it look like it was just kind of thrown up. Not like literally thrown up, but you get what I mean. But I wanted to make it look like it was here. They had to do something with it, so they threw up a couple decorations. They called it a shrimp shack because they thought, hey, it looks terrible. Why don't we just make it a shack? And, I think that'll work, yeah. You can't really even see the ceiling there, but, Now, let's be fair here. I wasn't really taking a jab at my old workplace, but it's kind of the idea of how I would do it. It's like, all right, cool, we have this building here. It's right next to the lake. We could use a restaurant in this area. Let's just put a shrimp shack here or a seafood shack. I still have been going back and forth on what to name it. And I still don't know yet. So, that being said, let's go ahead and start doing some decorations. I think the first we need to do is put some ropes up. Why? I have no idea. But, especially in a seafood place like this, I would think ropes, nets, things like that would actually be kind of common. So, do have a couple here. So let's get these put up along here. Let's go ahead and hit align to surface so it's a little bit easier for them to come in here. Something like this. Ooh, I might be covering up the menu a little bit too much. Just some nice curved roping along here. In fact, I want to just kind of tuck it in just behind this. There we go. Let's just bring this one down all the way along this way. Do want to rotate this one down just a little bit so it kind of tucks in underneath that awning. Like, ooh, a little too much. Like that. Now this won't all just be, ooh, it's a little too big. Let's see here. We'll use some barrels. What kind of barrels do we have here? We have some bins here. I think, first of all, trash barrel bins at the entrance would work pretty well. But I think just some wooden barrels dotted around here But will look rather nice. Do one on its side here, because there always seems to at least be one on its side. You know what we'll do to help, like, to help cover this area up, because technically we don't want guests or anything walking back here. I mean, I know they won't, but I'll put up some older looking crates, like these, maybe. Let's not align that to surface right now. Something like this. And like this. You're right. This is like bare minimum of what we would do, but it's kind of how that works. Let's see if we can get a ship wheel, maybe. Like, I'm looking for pirate themed stuff. That's kind of what we're going for, kind of aesthetic wise. Aha! There we go. Pirate's wheel ship. Pirate ship wheel. Let me put that on the side here. Oh, not position snap. I want to do a line to surface. Yeah, there we go. But this is kind of how a park would do that. It's like, cool, what do we have lying around? Oh, we have, oh, we're doing a shrimp shack. We can do pirates. And that's kind of how this would go. Let's remove the ship thing. Let's go over here to more filters. We'll do just the, maybe not that. Adventure. I think adventure themes what I'm, maybe not adventure. Probably staring me right in the face somewhere. Scenery theme, pirate. There we go. What do we have over here? We got an anchor. I'm looking just through stuff to see what we could use. I don't think this would be appropriate. Maybe up there. Just kind of draw your eye up to it. We'll see how that one goes. I'm not sure that that's going to stay or not. That's some lights actually. Let's see here. I don't think we quite need that one. I thought about putting a mast up here, just doing on top here. I mean, this might be a little overkill for it, but I don't know. It might be kind of fun, just kind of a little jab. This would be probably why there's a drop ceiling in there, so that they could support this mast. So you couldn't see it from the bottom there. But that might be a bit much for the restaurant there. Do we want to put maybe a rowboat, maybe sticking out of one of the sides here? Something like that. Maybe. I don't know about that one. And that was pretty much it. Alright, well, that didn't help me too much. Do we maybe do some lanterns on the front here? Maybe one on either side here. I don't think they're quite large, so I think, something like this. Maybe one in the middle here. Maybe just two. Let's not overkill it. What else? I mean, well, I'm thinking some netting. Netting might work here. That might be a bit much, actually. So that is one of the issues that you have with Planet Coaster, is that the scale sometimes is rather large for what you're working with. Can I incorporate that in here somewhere? Maybe on. Yeah, see, that looks a little out of place there. Can I do something like this? See, also you got to think of kind of the budget of this. This probably wouldn't be the most expensive place in the world to go. So let's just do some more ropes. Ropes always work. I don't know what happened with the search there. Oh, because I don't have another pirate theme anymore. Yeah, this might have come from the Adventures Pack, come to think about it. So I might want to look there as well. Maybe we can find something. And we'll do a double 4 like that. That looks kind of nice. You're right, it is covering up the windows a little bit, but you know, I think it'd be fine. Something like this, and move it over a little bit more, like so. Also want to move this up just a little bit, just so it doesn't look like it's all the same, you know, height or length maybe. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, I kind of like how that looks here. I mean, I think the Shrimp Shack is coming up together a lot better than it was. Like, it was rather bare before, but I think it's starting to kind of come into its own a little bit. So yeah, I really do like how this is going here. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to pause here. I'm going to run and use the restroom really quick. So I'm going to save the park first, because if I don't, my luck would be I go use the restroom, come back, and the game would have crashed. So I'm going to use the restroom really quick, guys. Just hang out here. I'll keep the music going so you guys can have something to listen to while I'm away. And then when we come back, we'll finish up decorating. We'll put the condiment carts in and maybe start working on the patio a little bit. And I think I might continue with this as well. I don't think I'm going to switch over to the scenarios today, just because I think we're on a roll in here. I think we just kind of continue to keep this going. So I'll see you guys here just in a couple of minutes, and yeah, I'll see you guys then. Let me plug my headset in, because apparently it is low on battery. There we go. We get this out of the way here. We get the game back open here. There we go. Alright, so while I was upstairs, I was trying to think of other things that I could add to this, and I'm kind of drawing a blank a little bit, because this area seems a little odd, like just, you know, bland. I mean, we can put crates and barrels up there. I think that'll, you know, kind of suffice, I guess. But, you know, if I think of something else, I'll always come back to it. That's no big deal. Maybe a rope coil might not be look too bad here. Going up front here. Maybe let's look in the Adventures pack, because that technically is a different theme than the Pirates, but I think it's very similar, or it can be very similar. Content packs, adventure. Let's see here. Well, maybe not. I don't know. What I might do though, we'll put the more crates and barrels, stuff like that down. I had an idea and I lost it, and that's not a good thing. I misspelled crate. Smaller one up there. And like that. Alright, well, that kind of fills in that area a little bit better. And I think for now, we'll call, you know, kind of the decoration like that done. We need to do the condiment cart still, so let's go ahead and do that. Although I do realize I just put this rope coil pretty much right where I was going to move or put the condiment cart at. So let's move it up to here. Alright, so essentially this is going to be a basic countertop with, you know, a trash can, things like that. You know what we could do, actually? Let's exit out of this building here. Let's go down here to the pizza. I don't even know if I even called this place anything. It's the pizza place down here. I like how I did this condiment cart. Actually, it's got a nice, the crates and everything. I'm just going to take and copy this and move it down there. I want to edit it just a little bit, just because there's a couple things I do want to change about it. But I love the built-in, trash and recycling bins. Get rid of this back part here and that one there. Okay, let's copy it. Move it out here. Split it from the building. Now we can move this as freely as we want to. Move it down here. All right. Well, it's not going to fit perfectly in here right this second. I think it'll look pretty nice once we get all of it done. Edit this first. I want to move the trays out of the way here, because unfortunately they're impaling one of the structures right now, and that's not a good thing. Something like that. I think that'll work. Now, what I want to do is actually bring this around a little bit more and put things like the ketchup and mustard, things like that over here. So yeah, I'll do that. Let's. Do I want to do another crate? Maybe just kind of continue the crates around. I thought about doing like a barrel on top of, or like a piece of wood on top of barrels, kind of look to it. But I thought that might look a little too under budget. Like, I mean, that we want to kind of look like a smaller park, but excuse me. At the same time, that might be a little too much of what I was looking at. So I think something like this looks really great. They can store the trash cans. This is actually supposed to be like doors that they can open up and get to the trash recycling. You know what? It might not be the worst idea to actually make 2 of those. Maybe put one down here as well, because these things do fill up rather quick. Let's take those out. Let's take those. Take the. Actually, you know what? Let's duplicate this. Duplicate that. I'll move it out like this. Delete that. Delete that. And delete this. You can kind of see how I did mine. At least the how I would think that they could be done. And we'll move it. We'll just do it in the section over one. You know what? I don't think it's going to fit. I think it will have to do it. They didn't really fit over there either. We'll do something like that. I'm not a huge fan of how that cuts right through it, but it's kind of how we're working with it right this second here. You want to turn this around. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Well, oh, that's not exactly what I want to do at all. Let's do that. And let's move. I'm going to move the doors out like this. Let's get rid of this, this, and this. Move the doors out so that it looks like they're actual doors, not just painted on there. There we go. So yeah, we can return your trays. You can dump your trash in either one of these. I think that works kind of nice. Now you need to figure out what boards these are. I think they're actually the beams. So let's get the beam out here. We might be able to actually use these. Well, maybe not. We might be able to just do this. Excuse me. And instead of, because I was kind of worried about it overrunning. But I think we'll be okay with these. There we go. Well, I can't select them anymore. There we go. Something like this. And move this back. And one more time. Move this back over to here. And down. There we go. We got another countertop here. Fair enough. It does look like the other one, but at the same time, if it is the same one, they might have been built at the same time, and so kind of tying the story together a little bit more. But at the same time, if it's the same thing, if you have an associate that works at the pizza place that comes down here to the shrimp shack, or more likely, if you're working at the shrimp shack and you get on the pizza place, you know actually how this kind of works. It makes more sense to me. So let's get some condiments up here. Things like ketchup and mustard. That's not what I'm looking for. Don't want to do it in like a full line. I also kind of wish we had the pumps too. The pumps I think would be kind of nice. Because that would be more apt to what I would see it. You would see it in an amusement park is kind of the pumps there. That would hold like a gallon of each condiment. And if you think I'm joking, you can actually, if you ever see somebody changing a thing of like ketchup or barbecue sauce or mustard, stuff like that out, they actually come in bags, and the bags are probably this big. That they take it out, they'll open it up, push the pump into it, and put it back down. They do clean it. They'll clean them too. But yeah, it's usually about a gallon worth of stuff that they will put down, or condiment of Mostly, I think it's more like ketchup, mustard, stuff like that. It's not as popular, but still have to do it. Let's do that. Do I have anything else I could put down? I may not, and that would kind of stink. But it's a microwave. That's not quite what I need there. Got some salt and pepper shakers on the other end there. Let's see here. What is this? Oh. So what I think I can do though is add some more napkin dispensers. Or just add, things like this. I don't like. I think I'll kind of going back and forth. I think I'll use these. I think they're a little more. Well, maybe not. Maybe the tall ones will look a little bit better because they're a little bit bigger, so they probably would hold more. Do something like this. It'd be nice to see ones that are like mounted on the walls. If somebody would make those, that'd be kind of nice. And I think what I'll also do is just put another tray return down here on the other end, just so that just so that it looks like there's a second place you can drop off your trays, but maybe not. This one's maybe not as packed. You know what? We'll do something like this actually, and we'll delete that one, and we'll delete this one. So it looks like there's not as many trays there, but yeah, I really like how that looks. It looks just like a condiment cart that you'd see out just sitting out somewhere, and I like it. We need some signs though. So let me take a look here and see what kind of signs we can get for our seafood place here. Sign. I was also kind of hoping to see if they had anything seafood wise that we can maybe put on top of the restaurant as kind of like the big sign to draw people in. Hey, I thought I had one of these things. Hold on. Let me, there we go. We're not going to ever see it, but, it makes me feel better to see that. some sushi we could put on top, but not quite what we're looking for here. Let's go over to building to see what kind of signs we have over there. S-I-G. Let's see here. Not really much in the way I'm looking for. I was kind of hoping for... It's not a bad, you know, they're pirate signs, so it's kind of makes sense. But I was kind of looking for one I could actually edit to put... maybe something like... Ooh, something like this might work. Let's hang it up from here. And then I need to go into here. Change the color of it, of course, because you guys can't really see that. Let's change the outside color there. Let's change that as well. There we go. If that works, I think, you know what, since this whole thing's the condiment cart, I think we'll just move it down to about there. You know what, we'll have it straddled with these two awnings here. Kind of like so. Yeah, there we go. I like that. I don't know why. It just, I guess it reminds me of, you know, things like that I used to, you know, kind of the areas I used to work in. I know we'd always have when we send somebody out to do what we call patio, it's cleaning up the patio and also working on the condiment cart. I had to do that quite a bit, even as a manager. And so, you know, that reminds me of just doing stuff like that. And it was always a monotonous job, just to clean tables off, clean trays off, things like that. But you know what? I'm actually kind of proud of how this turned out. It's, you know, it's not perfect, and I don't expect any of this to be perfect. But it's something I can enjoy. I can look at it and say, yes, I know that's a restaurant because of the lot. You know, if you look inside here, it's got drink machines and it's got the fryers. Something else I want to add later, but I'll tell you that here in a second. But it's got a condiment cart outside. It's going to have a patio on it. It's kind of, you know, kind of utilitarian almost. But I like it. One thing I do want to add, though, that I think will kind of set this place up just a little bit is a vent system. We used to use something called hoods, and if you go to any restaurant, it has a hood in it. It's required, if I'm not mistaken. But essentially, it's just an exhaust system for your fryers and things like that, so they have somewhere to go. If you ever seen steam or smoke coming out of a building that's not, like a restaurant that's not on fire, you can actually, 9 times out of 10, that'll be the vent system actually working. So I'll do something like this. And it's probably what this is probably emulating a vent system. But it also, it's kind of a two-part thing. So it does allow like heat and air, stuff like that, to escape the building. And it also has a big fan in there that helps pull that out of there, so you're not just choked with smoke all day. But it also, like in case of a fire, it would actually, it does have like emergency or like actually built-in fire extinguisher, so you actually pull something. And I've never had to do that, thankfully. I've actually only ever heard of someone doing it once when I was there. But yeah, you just pull it. It's like a 3 or 4 foot cable that you have to pull, and you yank it out, and there's a die in there so they can tell what happened, like who actually pulled it. And so you pull it out, and it's like a foam. If you ever see like I don't know, I'm trying to think what would, you know, there's famous things that you can see that like when you pull it, it's just foam everywhere. Kind of like how if you ever go to an airport, you see the fire trucks that use foam a lot. It's kind of like that, but it just dumps it everywhere. So yeah, it's a good system to have. I've never had to thankfully use one. I've had to clean them quite a few times. I was one of the few people that was tall enough to actually reach up in there and grab the vents out of them and to clean them. So that's what pretty much I did for a good amount of Sunday, because Sunday was always our deep cleaning days. So we would actually go through, tear all the fryers apart, clean them. And we would clean them, just, we would change the oil out more often than that. But on Sundays, we would actually take all the oil out, deep scrub them real good, and then fill them back up with brand new oil as well. The vents we would take out of the ceiling, degrease them, things like that. Let's see here. So the other thing I wanted to do, because a lot of this would have some sort of effect to it, or have smoke coming out of it, I do want to I want to have some smoke coming out of this building here. Not a lot, but enough. Let's see, colorable smoke, I think, is what I want to do. And I want to make it like maybe like an off-white, something like this. Oh, well, something like this. Well, that's purple again. Looks more blue than white. Let me just go full on white then. So I want to make this look like it's actually cooking something. Like there's people in there, they're making food and things like that. Because even if the inside is totally empty, with something like this though, just do that. If we're just running around the park here and, we're looking at shock, whatever, and we see all the smoke coming out, it's like, oh, they're cooking, it's not like a whole lot of smoke. It's like, what is all that sound? But we're right next to the coaster. I'm like, that makes sense. But it looks like it's actually cooking something. That might be a bit much smoke, let's be honest here. So let's go ahead and undo that one, and let's put in a smaller one. I think the smaller one might actually be a little bit better, just because I don't think we'll need that much smoke coming out of a building here. Do something like this. Drag it down. Let's see how this looks. Oop. Oh, under the world for a second. See, that doesn't look like a whole lot. But it's kind of the right amount, though, I guess. I might pull the smoke emitter up just a little bit, just so it looks like there's, it's pumping out a little bit more than it actually is. There it is. So if we look at it from here now, we can actually see just a little bit of smoke coming out. I wish there was a little bit more, to be honest with you. I don't think we can edit how much comes out, though. I know we'll have to get kind of in here. Come on. If we, hold on, so we can go multi-select and just something like that, and then do that. There we go. Yeah, I don't see anywhere it would allow us to change how much smoke comes out of it. But I think that's okay, though. It does need a sign, though. I think right here we need to put like a nice big sign that says, hey, this is such and such shack. I don't think I'm going to do that right now, because I don't know what I'm going to name it yet. And because of that, I really don't want to spend an hour on a sign and then have to tear it back down. So there's all that. I'm going ahead, and if you see here, so this is something one of the first things I actually designed for this park was this wall here. And this is actually a section of the wall that I built. And so what I can do is this is all interconnected, or most of the wall I think is interconnected. But I can go in here and just highlight all this. I love how this wall looks. It looks old, but it looks still somewhat maintained very well. And I can go in here and I'm gonna just, And this would actually use kind of these larger angles just to try to reclaim some land from the lake. So I just kind of want to make pull this out enough, and I think there might be enough to build a small patio on this side. And I think I want to just do a little bit of woodwork in here. So we'll just, yes, these are all individual boards too. So these were fun to put up, just to kind of space them kind of evenly. And I wanted that little bit of a gap in between each one. I think it makes it look a little little older. Like maybe that was somewhat like a boardwalk that they did around the lake. I like it a little bit better. And so then we'll take our concrete patches essentially, and we'll come in here and just layer them on. We'll do it over the wood, like you know, they kept most of the boardwalk, but when they wanted to put this patio in, they just like, all right, screw it, we're just gonna, you know, pave over it essentially. And so there we go. We got plenty of room. I think it's gonna be a small patio. I'm not gonna say it's very big, but I think that looks like something we could very well use. So yeah, let's get working on it then. I do want to leave a little bit of space on the side here for people who can walk in and out here. There's also, remember, this is actually a window as well. We gotta keep that in mind. The other problem with Planet Coaster I have is that you cannot place tables, stuff like that, wherever you want to. So I have these little cafe tables here, and I'm thinking about using these. I'm not 100% sure though. They kind of look like something you would, like a park would, you know, spend a little bit of money on, just because they, you know, they're like, oh, you know, I like that a little bit better. They'd be like, oh, this place is, you know, needs an update. Let's just give it some more new wooden, you know, chairs and stuff like that to help modernize it a little bit. So there's that one. Let me see if there's any other ones I have around here. I don't know if I have some folding tables, which don't think I would really have for something like this. I think they'd be more permanent tables or semi-permanent. They could be moved, but you'd have to get like a forklift or something like that to move them. Doesn't look like I have much else in the way of tables or chairs here, so we might just go ahead and use these. But I do want to do something else that's kind of cool. One big thing about patios around parks, they usually have a big umbrella in the middle of them. So let's see how this looks. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this or not. That actually might not look too bad. So let me do this first, though. Let me actually add chairs around here. Let's just, you know, keep them tucked in just a little bit. Probably should actually pause the game, to be honest with you, so that if you see, we're already on year 47 of the game. So yeah, I've had this game going for a little while, both paused and unpaused. But let's see here. What? I just popped it straight up in the air. I don't know why I did that. All right, get back over here. Something like this. And some of the tables I did want to actually have the umbrellas down. Maybe that somebody forgot to put them up at the beginning of the day, which happens. You know, just people forget about stuff like this. Not all of them, though. Most of them will still be, you know, where they should be, up. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. But we'll leave, you know what, we'll do 3. 3 will be down, the rest will actually be up. Something like that. And there was times that we actually had to take those down for different reasons. Things like if a big rainstorm was coming through, we had to take them down. If for some reason we had high winds a lot of times too, that would be a reason we'd take them down. So that was, you know, there was reason. Usually at the end of the day we would take them down too, so that they wouldn't just gather rain. But also something else that would kind of made me kind of mad is that guests would actually come up and after we put them down and we tell them it's for their safety, and there's a reason for that. But the problem is people would just go back and put them back up, and we had to go out there and tell them, hey guys, we can't really. Actually, you know what? These are a lot bigger than I thought they were. All right, change of plans here. I'm gonna put up a couple of them. So you know what, let's do the tables first. We'll work on the tables, and I'll work on those here second. But people would go back out and put them back up, and that would always infuriate me because we're like, hey guys, if it really is getting as bad as they say they was, and usually we actually had a weather team on site. They actually look like, if you actually went back there, it looked like almost like a news like weather station there that they would keep on property. It was actually right behind our fire department. So I went in there a couple of times. But if you went in there, they would, you can see like they had 5 or 6 screens going with weather radars, different news agencies looking for weather. They actually have there's it's not I think it's a Doppler station up actually rather close, so they could get pretty much real time weather tracking from them. So yeah, if they said it's going to be bad here shortly, it would be kind of bad. So when guests would always put those back up, we'd have to go out there and tell them this is why. And I remember one time somebody decided to put it back up for some reason. Why? Not 100% sure. And rain started picking up, and it came pretty quick. It was kind of a summer kind of pop-up storm. And not 2 or 3 minutes later, you see the umbrella go sailing out of the table and out into the path. And I can't remember who had to go chase it down, but somebody had to go chase it down because it was flying towards other guests, and we didn't want those people to get hurt. So stuff like that happens, and it can be kind of infuriating sometimes when people do stuff like that. So thankfully, I don't think anybody got hurt, but they very well could have if we didn't track it down. So right now, I'm just kind of pulling out chairs. Some will keep kind of pristine, others all just kind of move. For some reason, they move table or chairs like this a lot, and I have no idea why. So we'll just do something like this and just kind of move chairs out. We'll keep some near the table. And some they won't have sit in, or have people have sat in them yet. So I'll keep them pristine. But others, I do want to move the chairs out just a little bit to make it look like that this patio has been used already today. So I'll put a couple trays out too and make it look like people have left their trays like animals on the tables and not returned them. This table's too pristine here. And do something like this. I'll leave that table nice, that table will be nice, and this one will be nice. So, got a couple tables that aren't, but it looked like, something you would do. All right, so here's the other thing I want to do. Since the parasols are a lot bigger than I thought they were, because usually they actually have like individual ones, like just for tables. I thought that's what those were, but apparently they're actually a lot bigger. We also have these at the amusement park as well, but you'd have to have a hand crank to crank these things open. So they're pretty big. And yes, I did forget to put them up every once in a while. It does happen. So let's do something like this, and we'll actually we'll move this one actually, and move it to the center of this one. Like so. And then delete this one. And why is that one different colors is my question. Move to a red here. And now it looks like we forgot to put up one of the umbrellas. There we go. And I like how that really looks. We get plenty of space for the condiment cart here. We probably can actually add in another table, to be honest with you. Let's add in this. We'll add this one back in. just rotate it so it looks like it's a different table. Add it in right here. Yeah, I think that looks really nice, actually, with this patio here. And it's kind of how that would be. And, you know, forgotten umbrellas, chairs not, kind of disorganized. Let's also get some trays down. Tray. Also have this tray. What's the difference between the two trays here? Line to surface. I like the orange ones a little bit better here. Put one over here. Come on, cooperate with me here. Don't align the surface. There we go. I think it just be upright. I'll do something like this. And let's see, these people over here were heathens and they put their trays on the ground. Align the surface. Something like this, and rotate them just a little bit. And trust me, I'm not just saying this to be funny. This really did happen. Like, people would just leave trays on the ground, like trash, food, and they would think it's you just clean it up. It gets frustrating when people do that, and so yeah, this is stuff I dealt with on a daily basis when I was in food service. And even somewhat in merchandise too, because if you would see like a patio that was like this, tray or chairs disorganized, a bunch of trays out, you would at least go tell somebody, say, hey, you might need to go clean your patio up. I usually do it so that their higher up managers wouldn't get on them about it. And maybe with this table, they just sat down for their meal, so let's give them full drinks, something like that. Do I have I want to put some food down. I think that'd be kind of neat to see. I know I have some food trays, it looks like, but I'm trying to look to see where they're at. It's kind of a better question. Let's see here. Yeah, why not? I know this is a little more maybe like noodles or something like that, but I think for what it's worth, what we're going to do, I think that'll look really nice for that. Yeah. There we go. I think I can call that patio now done. I think that works really well. We also probably should put I could put a menu down here, but I think even if they have to come around the front here, they can just look at these menus, since we're just going to be up there. So there's that. Is there anything else I wanted to do? Not really. We could do the sign, but I think the sign's going to take me a lot longer than what we have left in the stream. So I think we're going to leave this for now. I think we can at least call this section of the shack and everything done. And I'm happy with it. I really like how it looks and things like that. So, is it perfect? No, but you know what? That's okay. There's a couple other things I wanted to move on to. First and foremost, I did want to actually finish the wall here. If you look here, this is kind of the private area. I kind of want to work on this area just a little bit. This is kind of the private viewing area for the nightly fireworks and kind of show out here on the lake. So I did want to work on this a little bit, and so I think I just want to go ahead and I'm going to extend the wall. That's pretty much all I want to extend the wall. I might add just a bit of, I might take these out because I wasn't a huge fan of the railings. I think we do need something like that. I just don't think those railings are exactly what we need. So I think I just want to go ahead and extend the walls down this way. And I'm also thinking that it may not be a bad idea to actually make a second line maybe. Or we only have one line and maybe make just a second entrance down here. That might be what we do. Let's do something like this then. If we're going to do a second entrance, do something like this. Although, to be honest with you, they really only have one entrance and exit to these places. When they do it like a private party for like a dessert party for the, if you go to Magic Kingdom fireworks, or if you go to if you like if you do like a special thing for the parade or something like that, it usually is kind of a move this over. It usually is like a one entrance, one exit kind of thing. So maybe something like that. We might paint the fances. For some reason, there's some words that I, for some reason, just mess up like that all the time. I don't know if it's me just talking fast or what. But I think we need to, we might color the fences just to make it a little more inviting. The three-tone black and gray look is not the most appealing in the world, to be honest with you. You know what? Let me leave those railings up here just for a moment. Add some steps in here. That's what I want to do next. Come on. Why won't it let me select the steps here? Oh, because they're not part of that group. That makes sense. All right. Well, let's just do this. I think I want to add railings. I just don't know quite how I'm going to do it yet. So let's just move the stairs over so we have stairs all the way down on both sides. Funny enough, I paused the game on June 10th and it is June 9th today, so I was close. I should have known if I'd stopped just a moment sooner. We would it's been perfect for this stream. So yeah, let's get rid of these railings because I'm not a big fan of them. I'll find something else. Maybe something like Theme Maker's Toolkit. It's a glorious thing. Do something like this. We use these. This is the chains or the chain post that we use in the restaurant. But I think if we did something like this, and then rotated this down to maybe like a 35-degree angle, maybe something like this, maybe like that. Do something like this, maybe. Ooh, wow, that's really rotated out of place there. You know what, I'm going to restart that because don't quite know what happened there. But it aligned to a surface and I didn't like it. So, we'll set it to a line surface, but we'll do it to like this surface. Now all of our axes are in the correct areas here. Might need to do a little bit different cable here. That might work. Try this one. And what I'm going to do is move it down just a little bit and down this way just a little bit. And I'm going to have two railings essentially that we can just kind of bring down here. Keep bringing down this way. Come on. There we go. Like that. Now let's see if we can put one of these towards the bottom and see how far it comes up. And that's, we can adjust it from there, but that didn't work out as well as I thought it would. As you can see here, though, it's already a lot lower. So what we'll need to do is kind of come back through here. Let's highlight all of them. Like this, and like this. And we'll just edit this up, and I do want to take that angle off just so that I can kind of rotate them kind of freely. And let's see here, it needs to be a little more to the left here. A little less than a little more. There we go. Actually, this is not going to work. Let's try that. That's pretty darn close. Alright, so let's do this. Let's move this stick down. Well, that's too much. Can't really tell where that end is with the arrow there. Move just a little bit more up. And move this down just a little bit. Perfect. That actually looks a lot better, I think, than those. I mean, the railings were okay, but I think this looks a little bit more. It's a little bit smaller, and I think it actually looks like a railing that you could actually use. Yeah. So let's go ahead and copy all this, and we'll move it down to the other sections then, so we can actually, you know, looks like we have fencing around here. I missed a part. We do no. Alright, trying something here. So I can do this. And then just try to get rid of the steps here. That's perfect, I think. Let's see here. If we copy all this over, yes, we got everything. Cool. There, and then copy, move over. Not yet, because we still have railings over here. Oh, shoot. I guess I didn't place the other ones yet. Ugh. That sucks. Alright, well. Come on, this is what I want. Get rid of the steps again. There's that. So now let's copy it and move it over like so. One more time. Well, two more times really. Last one here. There we go. Alright, that looks a lot better than those red ones did. Alright. So this is starting to shape up a little bit more. There is going to be two sections I'm going to want to focus on next. And it's these two sections here and here. So, you know, this is not really wheelchair accessible, with all the stairs there. So I want to add actually in I'm going to bring this wall out to the edge of the wall here. And this section and the other section is actually going to be a wheelchair accessible, things like that section. So people with, someone in a wheelchair, or maybe they just have crutches or something like that, they can still watch the fireworks show and have a special viewing area for it. So I kind of like that idea, so that's what we'll go ahead and take care of. Go. And we'll get rid of this fence here. And we'll just copy it again, because probably look a little bit better if we can get both in here. And we'll move this one down. Like so. Alright, yeah, and I think what we'll need to do is we need to put kind of handicap sign somewhere, and I think that's what I'll put up, and just, essentially the sign will kind of represent, it's like, hey, this section is for, the disabled and their families or their parties. I think that'll look okay. I also I think there was some, I don't know if I want to put folding chairs up here or not. Do something like this. I don't know, that might look a little cheap, but I guess, if it's a special event, we would have folding chairs like that. Let's do something along the lines of this. Just kind of duplicate them. Because, I mean, you wouldn't need like a front row seat to have the best seat in the house, to be honest with you. Let's do something like this. And this. I'm going to move that light here in a second because kind of right in the way of what we're kind of doing here. Move that down, maybe the end here. Now we need to do something like this. Hold on. Do I have a wheelchair that I can kind of measure this stuff with? I do. Awesome. Oh, come on. Yeah, there we go. Let's move this one out here. Now you kind of get the idea of what I'm kind of going for here. Something like this maybe, and then and something like there. That's kind of then we can put some more folding chairs back a little bit more, I think. And what I'll do is maybe the since it's still daytime, I won't put all the folding chairs out. Like I'll you know, put like this section might be set up. It might be ready to go for the show at night. But maybe the other one is, you know, part of it's still there, but maybe part of it's still unfolded. They're still maybe setting up for that one. I think that'll work really well. There we go. I like that a little bit better. I might put another smaller not condiment, like a food stand down here maybe, just to help out with that. Yeah, I actually like how that turned out. So yeah, let's do the same down here. What I think I'll do though is I'm number one, remove the wheelchairs so that get these out here, so it looks like they're just not set up or not there yet. So probably one side will be set up and the other side will be kind of partially set up. It's kind of how I'm thinking here. Do something like this. Let's copy that. Move this all down to here. It almost fit perfectly. I didn't really I mean, they're built similarly, but you know, I didn't think about how wide they were, but I guess if they're built in sections like that, it makes sense. Let's just do something like this, and we'll set them actually on their kind of back, I guess. Actually, be better this way. I lay a little bit flatter that way. I'm just gonna move them. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Just gonna lay them out like this, and then we'll do another section, which there's 4 of. You know what, we need to raise these up just a little bit here so that they're not sunk into the ground there. There we go. We do need one back here as well because we are missing one over here. There we go. And so it looks like they're still setting up for the kind of the nightly show. No, I don't think they would leave these out overnight. Just, you know, have the elements take them. I don't think probably won't be the brightest idea in the world. So I'll just put these signs up here and here. There we go. I think this area is starting to come together a little bit more, because I've actually spent a little bit more time just working on it. Let's go ahead and actually add that second food area, I guess you can say. We'll put the umbrella up there. I only will put one drink stand down there. I'll do the gulpy. And I think... Get rid of that one. We'll move this down first and see how this looks. Something like put it in the corner like this. Or do I want to leave the you know what? I think I'll leave it at a corner like this. I kind of like it. Kind of break up the straight lines and everything like that. But I will do. I want to put a cooler back here. I think this will be more like the ice cream section, maybe like like prepackaged like ice cream stuff like that. It might be more taken down here. The other one would be like popcorn, the pretzels, peanuts, stuff like that. So there's that, and we'll put one more back there as well. And you're kind of wondering why there was a register out here. That would make sense. Especially if they bought tickets ahead of time, that means that they would already have paid for their food and everything. And that's true. I mean, but they would need, they would have a register out here to scan wristbands. It's like, hey, you're buying popcorn. You scan the wristband. It's free. They just help to keep track of how much they actually are selling during these events. So, yeah, it makes sense to me. So, move these down just a little bit more here. Like so. I think that'll be nice. Can I add anything else down here? Maybe actually do a cooler full of waters. We did have a big water thing down there, but I think if we had just a little like water cart there, just trying to show they do have both drinks down here, I think that works out pretty well. And really, that's probably all I'm going to do for this one. This would be kind of a smaller one, maybe only run by 1 or 2 people or associates that would be down here. And these would be, this would be kind of the bigger one down here that they can run in and out of the shrimp shack. Just as they need things, they can run them down to the other place as well. So I think we might need to put it's a little bit more like area like guarding here, mainly for the associates, because I don't want you don't want them falling off here, because that would be a terrible thing to have happen. And kind of think about it, I don't know why I can't just push all this back to the stand. I mean, let's give them a little bit of room to work here. Let's do this and kind of move this all back here. I don't see why you couldn't. You know what I mean? Something like that. And yes, this leaves this a little more open. And I probably will put some mats down here. Let's see here. It's called a tread mat, I think is what they're called. Maybe not. That's the roof. That's not what I'm quite looking for here. Let's scroll on here, because there's something I have. It's just mats that that they would put down, so if it got wet or anything like that, they could just they wouldn't slip or anything. So let me see here. Don't see anything yet. Didn't see what I was looking for here. Ah, here they are. So yeah, these are all these are. If you've worked anywhere in food service, you'll know what these are. They're usually rubber, and usually they're either black or like a dark yellow. Let's do angle snapping here. Like that. And I will put like a cable, it looks like it's going underneath it, because that's probably why that would be here, is the power for the register. Makes sense. Something like maybe one more over. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Scenery, we'll go to cable. Do they have anything shorter than that? I don't think they do. I know the tread plate would technically go over that cable so they wouldn't trip over it, but, you know, fair enough. That's what we got. Let's do something like this. And I'll run it back. We'll just run it back into the stand. You wouldn't go through a door with it because that's unsafe. But let's see here. If you turn that off, turn this just a little bit, and we'll kind of hide it in the building here for the rest, you know, something like that. Now they can kind of walk in either side, and technically we need another tread plate over here. So let's just duplicate it and run it back this way. There we go. So there's that. And that cart looks really nice. I kind of wish I had another machine like this. Kind of like, you know, we have a popcorn machine. Now, I know this is from Pinewood Hills. This is all kind of custom made. It looks amazing. But like having like a pretzel machine or a something like that, I think that would work out really well. What I could do though, just to kind of help fill in this area a little bit, I'll put a table up, and it might just be a folding table. Because I mean we got a nice park, but it is, ooh, that's a little too much. It's still a on the cheaper side here. So what we're going to do though is we're going to do something like that, and we are going to put cotton candy on these tables. And while this doesn't look maybe perfect, or what they might actually do, you know, and you know what, we'll rotate this one kind of off to the left here a little bit to kind of look like maybe it's kind of sagging to that side. We'll kind of maybe tilt this one a little forward, like it's maybe not as full, or maybe it's just kind of leaning and they're trying to keep the whole stack up. Something like this. Oh, come on, game. There we go. And actually, I'm going to change this first one to being flat on its face, like it has fallen over. Like that. And I'll put a couple other things in here. Might put a couple napkin dispensers on here or something like that. But yeah, I just kind of want to make it look like this stand's a little more full, and I think those tables really kind of, you know, kind of close it off a little bit, but you know, still help with it. You gotta put the pink up here now, because you always gotta have pink and blue cotton candy. Not gonna have as much of this though, because usually the pink ones sell faster for some reason. Why? I have no idea. But it always seemed like we always had a lot of blue cotton candy left over. Well, not really left over, but we always has a lot more than just the blue do, or blue does. Something like that. Yeah, it looks rather nice. So it seems like we do have cotton candy. We just don't have it on display, I guess. Let's do some more napkins. Oh, we got a napkin dispenser there. See, I was thinking ahead. Let's see here. What else can we put over here? Just to kind of fill up that table just a little bit more. You know what? That's the button I was looking for earlier when I was working on the restaurant. Nope, it's actually over here. Walls, like that. Here, we get rid of this one. I swear, I'm like, that didn't look quite like the one I thought it would. Go this one, and then go to toolkits. And if I gotta find it again now, that's gonna be the fun part. Here it is. Because this looks more like an up and down for a garage door. At least I think it does. It's a lot smaller too. It's makes more sense. And it's on red right now, which would be closed technically. So that makes sense to me. So let's go back over here and work on our cart. Let's see, what else could we add into here? Slurpee, not a bad idea, but yeah, I'm not in the mood. Not thinking about that one. Popcorn we already have. A bunch of banners in here. We're getting towards the end. We do have like an ice cream cone like that, but I think that's more for the other end. I don't know. You know what? I think, though, I'm going to put a trash can back here. It's one of these. So they do have... You know, I might probably put two. Because who knows how often they could change them, especially if they're in the middle of an event. So, yeah, I think... For right now, I'm going to leave it like that. I don't know if I'm going to add something else back on that table at another time. But for now, I think we can call that one finished for now. And, this area is looking. I think it looks a lot. It looks like it's actually got some life to it now. It actually, there's people setting up things. I wonder if I can actually trick somebody to look like it's actually standing out here, maybe cleaning or something like that. Because unfortunately, in this game, you actually can't just throw people anywhere you want to. Let's do something like this. I don't want the I just have to do this. All right, I'm gonna hire another janitor because I do need some that's why I want to put a janitor out here. Let's see here, staff. We'll put a mechanic, or you know what? Put a vendor out here. Make it look like that person is maybe it's kind of helping set it up a little bit. Pause it, and a little trick you can do, you actually set him to standing, and if you watch here, he will not move at all. He'll just stand there. Like he might just be kind of hanging out for a little bit. But thinking about that, I do want to do the same thing down here, and just because maybe that we're getting towards the point of the day where they're about to let guests in, so we do want to have a couple people down here to let them in. Wait till he kind of moves away here. Pause it there. And we'll get him to standing. If you see here, now he's going to be kind of boring or bored, but he will look like he's waiting for to let people in, and I like that. So yeah, starting to get a little more life in this area. That's kind of what this area can look kind of bland. It's just kind of just a slab of concrete in the middle of the lake. But now we have some people here that kind of standing around. It actually looks like something's going on finally. So I think I want to do it one more time, kind of strategically right. Train to uneven for path. All right. Well, can we do it maybe here? And then if I can do it there, I want to do another vendor. Maybe they're loading this pop cart up with stuff. Perfect. Oh, that might be perfect. Come on. Standing and... Oh, look at that. Perfect. I think at least looks like they're but it looks like they're setting up for us the special event tonight. So that's what I like about this. So I don't know what else I could do here. I think eventually I'll put some seating in here maybe, but for now I think we could put folding chairs down, I guess. But you know what? I'm not going to worry about it because it's a lot of parts, and I don't really want to get I want to slow the game down too much while we're still building a lot of it. So right now I think we'll call this area done for now. But maybe a little later on we will take a look and see if maybe there's something else we could do. You know what? I don't like this guy standing here though. However, him sitting over there, and maybe working at that table. See how that looks here. Yeah, it looks like he's kind of helping the other guy out. Yeah, I think that works a little bit better. Alright, so what else? And we've got about 20 minutes left of the stream. We actually got quite a bit done. I mean, this area was almost blank. There was no patio here. You know what? I think the last thing I'm going to do is work on this. This is going to be like a flower bed. I really don't have any other plans for it right this second. But I think a nice little flower bed here with just some smaller trees and some flowers. Because this will be... I mean, technically this section probably would have been built when Shockwave and all this was built. So probably in the early 80s is when this would be built. So a nice bigger flower bed that has been grown. There's a nice big tree there that's been growing since then. I think that'll work out really nice. So let's go ahead and get some curb down. Do something like look at some windows here. Let's see here. Don't know. I want to use some sort of stone. That's what this looks like here. Yeah, don't really like that one. How does this look? I think we can work with this. Let's see here. Line this up with the path here. And rotate this like this. And hopefully this will work, because I know this is a pretty long railing, but usually I'll use some sort of window or something like that to make the curbing around a path like this. But figured might try something else to see how that will work. Something like this. Place that like that. Might have to adjust this just a little bit when I get this down here. Like this. And I think once we get out of the 80s section, we gotta go a little more the modern park. I think we might start making this thing a little bit more themed than we have been. I think that might look a little bit better. And just kind of or have more rides that are themed. I mean, you look at Shockwave. Shockwave's just a coaster with some nice station. But I actually want I want to try a couple do some really a little more heavily themed rides, even if they're just flat rides. That might be kind of fun to try. So let's do something like this. And across. Well, that didn't work out as well as I thought it would. Let's actually group all this into one. You can kind of see how big our flower bed's going to be. It's actually a decent sized flower bed, so something like that. We'll add that to a section and edit it. Go ahead and just kind of rotate this slightly so we can get a little bit better aligned with both ends here. slide it towards the coaster here. Like that. There we go. And then we'll just need to edit this in just a little bit here. Slide this there. There we go. We got a nice flower bed to work with now. At least a curbing for a flower bed. So let's go ahead. We can put some mulch down. And by mulch, I mean coconut pieces, because that's how everybody does mulch in this game. Well, I think they also have like a planter. So let me look at those first. I know they have some stuff that... see, planters. They did have stuff like this. Which, you know what? We might use that instead. But it looks like they're rather large though, and you know, especially with like corners like this, we'll have to maybe hide some of that with a bench or something. They're also on the grid, so no, actually, you know what? Scratch that idea. We're going back to the coconut pieces. Let's see here. CO. This is what I'm looking for. If you look here, it looks just, you know, like a big piece of like coconut, like a bar or something like that. But if I change this to like a brown, maybe a little bit darker than that, and then I move it, rotate it just slightly here, a little more, and then drop it into place here. This looks just like mulch, and I was watching, I think it was Jaunty Sparrow, which the first one I saw do this, which I don't think he saw it for somebody else, and it just looks more like mulch than just anything else really. So we'll do something like this. We'll also drop it towards the ground so it doesn't look like it's totally covered in mulch, but like that corner's going to be a little off, but that's okay. I'm going to rotate this and kind of line it up with the wall a little bit better. And we'll just continue to do this. We'll cover the whole thing in mulch because I think this is going to be like a mulch flower bed. Make it look a little bit nicer, I think. I always think mulch looks nice in certain areas if you can do it right. So something like this. And then rotate, kind of push this out just a little bit. I know I've got a couple things that are overhanging on this side here, so let's fix that here real quick. I'm afraid, yeah, I might pop on that end. So I'll have to fill these areas with just probably just some bushes or something like that. Let's do something like this. On our way down. By one more on this leg. And then one more along here. Then we just got to fill in the rest of it, which shouldn't be too hard to do. Something like this. And that. Come on, game. Like that. Rotate this one so that it doesn't look like they're all going the same direction. Like there, and do one like this down here. Alrighty, so there is our mulch bed. Hasn't quite been a flower bed yet, but we're about to change that here shortly. So let's do some ground cover first. There's stuff called this stuff. I don't know why. This stuff, it reminds me, like, I see this stuff a lot in amusement parks that just need a lot, just want to have like a nice green space. And it seems like this stuff is like, it just grows everywhere for some reason. We'll do just kind of along the outside here, because I got a feeling the insides there's going to be, you know, covered in the big tree and everything like that, whatever tree we decide to use. So I think we'll be okay with just kind of dotting this around the place. And also the other bushes will help this as well. So, yeah, I think that's a good start. But I do want to, I want to move it down just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more. You know, it looks like it's hovering. It actually looks like it's a little more in the ground. Let's see, like that, and we'll move it over just like that. Get rid of that one. We'll move this over just a little bit more. And then I think we can go in here and, like in this area here, I need something a little bit bigger than that. Could we maybe wedge one of these in here? Maybe not. I like these big white floral bushes. I don't know why. They're just one of the nicer ones, I think, in the game here. We do one at each corner here. That one might look kind of nice. One thing I did learn with planting, like doing plants like this, if you set everything to different heights, it does make it look. It looks a little more natural that way because you know different things grow at different speeds and things like that. So, especially with trees, there's a limited amount of number of trees in the game. But if you set them to different heights and things like that, you can make one tree look like 5 or 6 different trees that are just kind of in different development stages. Alrighty, I kind of like how that's looking out so far. So let's get the tree in here. Kind of maybe set up the rest of the planter here. Do we want just like a nice ash tree? How about an oak? I know the oaks are a little bit larger, so it's a little bit hard to use them in you know in certain sections of the park. But if I did something like this, let's see what the other oak trees look like. That might be a little too large, and I think that's even larger. I think that's a little out of place there. So, yeah, I don't like that one. It's a little too small. I'm thinking maybe a nice oak tree like this, maybe. Yeah, and I think we'll go ahead and just cover the rest of the ground with the this whatever this stuff is. I don't know what it. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think maybe Scalbold or Scalavold or Scalvola. I really don't know. Something like that, just to kind of help green up the place, because this is really kind of in the middle of a big concrete patch, and that's why I kind of wanted to put this planter in here. I think it'll make the place look a little bit nicer. I'm going to raise the tree up just a little bit so you can get the kind of look like the big roots there. That's kind of what I'm going for with this tree. And so there's that, and so I think we need to start putting in some. I don't think rose bushes would be the greatest idea because they do have thorns, and for some reason kids love to play in the flower beds and amusement parks, and them falling into a rose bush would not be the greatest idea in the world. So let's do something like maybe this. It's not going to be a huge budget, or like a big budget flower bed. I mean, it's going to have some nice bushes and maybe some flowers lining it. Other than that, it's probably going to have not much else. Like in the middle there, it might just be kind of on the edges here. Is this what I'm thinking of? Yeah. Let's make these, and maybe nice, make a bright yellow maybe. And maybe put these along the path here. Move that down here. Maybe take this one out. It's kind of the aesthetic I'm kind of looking for. Nothing, you know, it's not over the top, but it makes this area look a little bit nicer. You know, they actually look like they actually have taken care of their this place a little bit better than some areas. So I think maybe nice if we do maybe something like this, something growing up around the tree maybe. We need to place some more flowers down though. Something like this. Lower this one. Lower this one even more. Raise that one up. And I might move some of this green stuff back a little bit so you can so people can see the flowers a little bit better. So let's do that really quick here. Just kind of scoot this back a little bit. Do it to the next couple of ones here. Yeah, I like how this is turning out so far. So, and I think this tree, you know, it seems like this tree, you know, it would be kind of odd by this lake, but maybe this is like during that flood, this is like the only tree that was left. So around, like right around the lake. So that's the one they kept and decided to put a nice flower bed around it. I don't know. That would make sense. Maybe that's why the tree is so important. Let's do something like this. So this side just needs some flowers, and then we're pretty much then at the end of the stream then. So let's get these flowers in really quick here. I think this will look pretty well done. It won't be perfect, of course, but you know, it'll be a good start on this. Ooh. This game's starting to slow down just a little bit here, so I think it's about that time to hurry up, save it, and wrap it up. So alrighty. So let's save it first, and then we'll kind of go back over what we did, kind of show you kind of an overview of everything. If you guys join us a little later or what have you, so we'll save that. Shouldn't hopefully take too long to save it. Oh, there we go. Alright, so guys, so this is kind of what we did during the stream here. This is really kind of this corner here. We started out, we just kind of had a shell of a restaurant here, and now we finally actually have a full-blown restaurant here. Doesn't have a sign yet. I don't have a name for it yet, so when I come up with a name, I'll put a nice kind of janky old sign here. That's what'll, you know, that's kind of what I'm going for here. We did do an interior as well, so it does have all of its registers, a little bit of cooking equipment, some drink machines, things like that. I will think about trying to put some menus up here. I got to think about how I want to do those still. When we come around here, we do have the condiment carts. We do have a third window over here. If we want to have another side to open, we can. Right now it's closed, so that's totally fine here. Just nice, just basic decorations. Condiment cart has actually turned out really well. I really like how this looks. Then we moved on to our patio over here. The patio, I mean, this is like midday kind of. Maybe someone did forget to put this parasol up, and so might be getting a call about that later, just because, you know, it's a nice sunny day out. You know, there's no reason for have it down. Then we kind of came around the front here, worked our way along, you know, did some decorations, and then we started working on this area here. This is kind of the special events area in total. So this would be kind of the plan is the last thing I want to do before I call this park done is actually create my first fireworks display in the game. And so we're going to have barges out here in the middle of the lake that set off the fireworks. So I think that'd be really neat. But this would kind of be the special events area that you could pay a little extra for. You get like free popcorn, drinks, and stuff like that to watch the show with, and have some priority seating on the lake. So this is actually kind of the main area for the food. We do have some couple guys working here, some nice drinks, some popcorn, cotton candy, things like that. These guys are still just setting up. They're not quite ready for the party yet. These are all empty. I'm thinking about putting some chairs down here. Not 100% sure yet. We did work on some handicap accessible areas. As you can see here, they're still setting these up though with chairs. Same with, but this area is actually done down here. Very nicely, you know, nice, neat, and organized still. But when guest comes in, they're just going to ruin all the chairs. Here's another cart that's still getting set up down here. This would be like more like the ice cream, stuff like that. If you guys, you know, but there's still some drinks down here and things like that. There actually is there's a guy here kind of keeping people out for right now until they are ready to start the event. And then the last thing we worked on was this flower bed. You really just needed to fill in this area between the paths here, kind of intersecting. So that's what I did. I like how this, like, this. I think it's kind of the survivor tree. Kind of is how I'm thinking about it. Is this tree was the last one to survive the flooding of the lake, and so they decided, instead of tearing it down, it was still well grounded and everything like that. So they just left it there and they put a nice flower bed around it. And then people walk by it because this is a pretty popular intersection of the park. Going up towards the 80s section of the park, right next to Shockwave, the discus ride, things like that. So, I'll let the game just kind of run for a second. You guys can see how all this looks. I really like how this corner's turned out. We spent you can kind of see how I build now. It's a little bit slower than probably most do. I mean, this is 3 hours worth of work, and we've got one restaurant, a patio, a flower bed, and a little bit of a display area for fireworks to show for it. But I think all those areas are well done to like my standard. I mean, it's not, to some this would kind of be a little iffy, but I like how it is. I think it'll look better with its sign on it, with menus up and things like that, so it looks like it's open. I think that'll look a little bit better that way. But yeah, I like how this area looks. The flower bed turned out really well, especially for only being like 15 or 20 minutes worth of work. Like how the patio looks great. I just think it looks great for what it is, and I'm happy with it. And I think that's where I'm going to end the stream there, though. So I'm going to save it one more time just in case it didn't save the first time. But I think this is actually kind of fun. I didn't think about doing Planet Coaster on this channel. I don't know why, but I'm thinking now that Tuesdays we'll kind of do more in Planet Coaster, just because I think it kind of forces me to work on it for at least 3 hours a week, and I'm really happy with it. I really have enjoyed the last 3 hours. So let me actually pull up the main camera here, guys. So yeah, if you guys want to come back out, I'm hopefully do this next week as well. I think that's a great idea. But I do stream actually 3 days a week. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. So if you guys can come out, it's a great time. We'd like to hang out. If you guys want to chat, or if you want to play along with me, I do. Usually on Tuesdays, it seems like we're doing some Planet Coaster. Thursdays we've been playing Stardew Valley, which we've been working on. I think we're about to enter the summertime, so that's gonna be a fun one to come on Thursday for. And on Friday we play Mech Warrior. Mech Warrior 5, we've been playing through the campaign on that one. So we do change the games up every once in a while. So this is kind of the second wave of games. Kind of the Stardew Valley is kind of the last one that's still kind of hanging out. Still got some ideas for what we can, what's going to come after that. So stay tuned for that, guys. If you're watching this later on YouTube, I do appreciate that as well. Go ahead and leave a like and comment if you really liked how the video looked. This is just kind of the archive of the stream if you're watching this on YouTube. So yeah, guys, thanks for coming out with me and joining me today. I'll see you guys on Thursday for some Stardew Valley then. So yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. Have a great afternoon. I'll see you guys on Thursday.